Hello everyone, Gordon here and welcome back to another video. Today is the first day of an entire week in which I will use the iPhone 4 as my daily driver. A week's passed and here are my thoughts. Let's start by saying that it was a really fun week. It was really fun using this iPhone 4 in 2022. It was a refreshing experience compared to my normal modern iPhone, and it just puts in perspective the technology advancements since 2010. Literally, my iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone 4 are 10 years apart. It was also a really nice experience. The phone actually ran fairly well, not the snappiest, but it was fairly fast. Also, the battery life was fairly decent, as I actually didn't end up using it as much as my modern iPhone, obviously. And the battery did get me through the day, mostly. There was only one time when the phone died at 20%. This is a common occurrence when, in general, lithium-ion batteries are deteriorated and sometimes they cannot deliver enough energy and the phone shuts off before reaching 0%. I also tested out the camera and I actually was fairly surprised. Like, I could get some decent shots out of it and it wasn't that bad, especially considering that this phone came out in 2010. It's actually pretty decent. It was also fun to experiment with the Cydia, since obviously we jailbroken the device and we can pretty much do with it whatever we want. I tried a tweak that allowed to have gestures on iOS 6, which was actually pretty cool, and that tweak isn't something new, it's something that came out like in the early 2010s. And so in the early 2010s they had already invented gestures and navigation. and that was pretty neat. Now I don't have it installed, I have the normal navigation, but that week was really good. Unfortunately, there were obviously a lot of negatives with using an iPhone 4, also on iOS 6, so an even older versions compared to what it actually supports. Obviously, all of the applications they could download were older versions, several years older versions. And also there is no WhatsApp anymore for the iPhone 4, so that I couldn't use, or rather I used it via Wi-Fi on my modern iPhone. Safe to say that you cannot use an iPhone 4 in 2022 as your daily driver and as your only phone, because you're not gonna be able to do much with it. During this week I realized that at least, let's say back in 2012, so not even when it was brand new, this phone could do a lot of the things that the iPhone 12 Pro Max or any modern iPhone can do today, but now it cannot do them anymore because of obsolescence. This phone didn't receive iOS updates for many years at this point, and it cannot run a lot of applications, obviously a lot of games, because this thing isn't very powerful, and even the games that it can run do not run very well, or rather sometimes they lag. So yeah, they don't really run too well, they're fine. But if this iPhone somehow was kept updated, it could be somewhat usable, because after all it is a smartphone, but essentially lacking any modern features and any modern functionality obviously renders it unusable in 2022. So if what you wanted to hear in this video is that the iPhone 4 is not usable as a daily driver in 2022, that is absolutely correct, obviously, but that really wasn't the point, or was it? I don't know, but the point was to run a fun experiment so that I could see how people lived in 2012, even though this isn't really an accurate representation, since a lot of the things that people could do in 2012 with this iPhone nowadays cannot be done anymore. But it was also, I guess nostalgic, even though I never really used iOS 6. I never really had an iPhone this old. My first iPhone actually was an iPhone 5S. When I unboxed it, it was on iOS 9, so that's one of my first experiences with iOS, even though beforehand I would occasionally use it. In fact, this exact iPhone 4, because this is my dad's iPhone 4, and I would use this one to play games, and I don't know, I didn't have a smartphone, so I would just use his. So I already had a little bit of experience with iOS 7, since this thing was already unsupported at the time, and at the time it would be 2016, so a fair bit of years ago. And to wrap it up, this video was actually a lot of fun to make, because using an iPhone 4 in 2022 was a really fun experience, and really puts into perspective the technological advancements, and at the same time maybe even downplays them a little, because after all this is as much as a smartphone as this iPhone that's recording is. And if this thing had software support, it could probably run, let's say maybe 80% of the things that can. WhatsApp should, if it was supported, should run fine. And I'm not saying like games like Asphalt 9 or realistic any modern games that could probably not run, if not severely downscaled. But in theory, if this thing was supported, it actually would be a fully fledged and functional smartphone even today. But obviously no one's gonna bother to make iOS 16 for iPhone 4. Obviously that's not possible, because it's not like iOS, it's open source. So yeah, I learned a few things, maybe. I also really like this UI design that I really never used in the past, and it's so different yet so similar to modern iOS. And in fact, I brought over this design to my modern iPhone with the icon packs and wallpapers from iOS 6. I would actually recommend you to try this experience, to try and use maybe even any other old phone for like a week, just because it's a fun experiment. If you feel like doing it, obviously. I don't know, I think this is the end of the video. So the takeaway is, Using an iPhone 4 in 2022 is really fun. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will reply to every comment you guys post. See you guys in the next video.